The reason I took 10 classes to graduate is because I was misadvised and ended up taking 4 classes that weren't going to count towards my graduation. Had those 4 classes been classes I actually needed, I would have only taken 6 classes my final semester. So, welcome to my TED Talk, part 1. I hinted at the tea in the last video. I'm gonna give y'all a little bit more in this video. Not too much, but just a little bit. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those that are new, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those that are new here, my name is India. So nice to meet you. For those that are returning, so good to see you again. So good to see you again. So today's video is going to be a kind of a follow-up to my previous video of things I wish I knew. And honestly, it's gonna coincide with some advice. Y'all see, sorry, y'all see Cowboy Carter? I put it next to Solange. Anywho, things I wish I knew / college advice, speaking from the perspective of a college graduate, FAMU alumna, period. Still can't believe it, but we did it, Jesus. But yeah, so things I wish I knew / advice. I was gonna break it off into like advice by classifications, like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. But honestly, a lot of the gems I'm gonna be dropping can literally be applied regardless of your year. Some of them might be specific, but I'll try and like note that before I give the advice. But we dropping gems the whole video, so you just gonna have to watch the whole video. And I do have a list and it's mighty long, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started so we don't have a 50-minute video. So first things first, this one is for my incoming freshmen / freshmen. Please, 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 please. I say this a lot. Please research your curriculum. Please look up what classes you're gonna be taking. Please search business administration curriculum, journalism curriculum, public relations curriculum, engineering curriculum. Look it up. It should be public record, and if it's not, please contact your department, because I can't stress enough. You think you want a major, you get into that major, start taking classes, and you realize it's not for you. It's okay to change your major, but if you're in a situation like I was, where your scholarships are tied to it, you could end up losing your scholarships, which is exactly what I did. If you want to learn about that story, check out my how I lost my scholarship, how I paid for college video, because I did graduate debt-free, loan-free, but I wish I would have looked up what business administration consisted of in terms of what courses I was going to be taking before I decided to become a business administration major, because baby, they had me taking STEM classes. Like, I knew it was gonna consist of some finance, but I went in thinking, oh, I wanna be an entrepreneur, I like marketing, I like advertising, major in business. No, baby, they had me taking information science, data science, computer science, business systems, accounting, corporate finance, quantitative business methods. And I promise you, when I made my schedule for what would have been my junior year but was my second year, after I literally called my mom after I had my meeting with my advisor. I said, Mama, I'm getting out of business administration, I can't do it. And mind you, I was complaining about that major like my entire freshman year, saying how I didn't want to be a business major anymore. I was miserable. I had a journalism, or I had a PR minor, and that was my last straw, was when I made my schedule, and I had nothing but accounting, corporate finance, quantitative business method. Like, I was like, I can't do this, absolutely not. And because I changed my major, I lost all of my scholarships tied to the university, because that was one of the requirements to keep your scholarship, is to maintain in the same major. And then I also had I had SBI scholarships, so of course I lost the SBI scholarships when I left SBI. When I left SBI. There we go. So yes, please research your curriculum. It will literally tell you exactly what classes you're taking and when you're taking them. Had I done that, I would have been able to see that business administration was not where I was supposed to be, and that public relations was. Like, public relations literally gave me all the aspects of what being a SBI major would have given me that I wanted. So like with SBI, you take maybe like one marketing class, maybe like 2 marketing classes, an advertising class. I think there might be an entrepreneurship related elective you can take. All of that was literally ingrained into public relations, but public relations had more of the agency style stuff, so like creative writing and all that stuff. So please research your major. Spent 5 minutes on the first one. Oh my god. Next, please get on LinkedIn and post as much as you can. Honestly, if you go to any HBCU, they're gonna get you on LinkedIn more than likely, especially FAMU. You're gonna have a LinkedIn account, but it's very important to be active. And this is something I wish I would have done. I think it's because I was complacent. I always had an internship. I always had some sort of job internship. I was always working year round for my internship. So I got complacent in that, oh, I don't really need to be on LinkedIn to impress employers because I have a job. We'll talk about that in another piece of advice later. But please do not put all your eggs in one basket, and please always, like, regardless if you have an internship, if you have an opportunity, if you have a scholarship, never move complacent, because at any point that job, that internship, that scholarship can be out the window. So please make sure you're posting on LinkedIn as you're doing stuff. I'm literally at a place now where I'm posting stuff from a while ago because I wasn't posting it when it happened. Please, if you get a leadership position, if you attend a conference, if you're on a panel, if you attend an event that you liked, if you took a course and gained a skill set, please post on LinkedIn consistently, because when you're applying to internships and applying for postgraduate opportunities, when they go to your LinkedIn profile, they want to see that you're doing something. They don't want to see an empty profile, because what have you been doing? Like, you need to be consistent and you need to be posting on LinkedIn routinely. I currently have a weekly schedule where I post on LinkedIn at least once a week. It can literally be anything from inspiration to an accomplishment to something that you're looking forward to, a throwback, literally whatever. Just as you're posting on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you can do the same thing on LinkedIn to help your professional career. Next, there's no such thing as a summer off. Either take a summer class or get an internship. Once you're in college, there should be no point in time where you're spending summer at home doing nothing, or at home working a regular job. That should be your last resort. You should be applying for internships, externships, programs, conferences, or taking summer classes every summer after your freshman year. And a lot of people like to use the excuse, oh, I'm a freshman, I can't get an internship as a freshman. Yes, you can. You just didn't look hard enough. There are opportunities for freshmen, and it doesn't even have to be an internship. It could literally be a conference that you attend that's maybe a week or a day or 1 to 2 days. You should be doing something to further your professional career every summer after you start attending college. Like, you're in college now. Summers are not for being at home and going to work when you're on schedule. Like, no. You should be doing something that's going to further your career. You should be doing something that's going to push you further along and help you graduate, not sitting at home doing nothing or going to your job at Walmart. That should be your last resort. In the case that you're unable to find an internship, an externship, there are no conferences available, and you don't have the funds to do summer classes, then yes, get your job, get your comfort job, work your job, but still be doing something. See if there's a training online that you can do. See if you can get certified in something. There's free courses online. Take advantage of that. That leads me into my next tip, or thing that I wish I knew. I didn't start taking courses and getting certifications until my senior year. We took certification tests for, well, there was a couple throughout, like Microsoft Office, getting certified in that. But like, if there's any skill set that you can get, any certification, get it, because you'll learn, at least for public relations, the curriculum will teach you things, but you really have to like get that experience yourself, and you really have to like want to get things. So like with PR, I'm certified in social media marketing. I didn't get certified in social media marketing until after I graduated. Had I did that when I was in college, I could have added that to my resume. Like, that would have like just built my resume, my experience level a lot further. you should be looking for certifications that relate to your major. So if you're a business, see if you can get certified in Microsoft Office. See if you can get certified in any sort of programming or finance or learning finance stuff. I don't know. Get certified in something related to your program because it looks good on your resume. And when you're applying to different positions and they're saying, oh, we need someone that has skill sets in XYZ. Well, I took courses on email marketing, so I can add that to my resume. I took courses on SMS marketing. I took courses on Shopify. I took courses on working with Klaviyo. I can add all that stuff to my resume and it makes me look better as a candidate because I have a broader range of skill sets that otherwise I would not have gotten just being a public relations major. They don't teach you Shopify. They don't teach you Klaviyo. They don't teach you, or they can't certify you in social media marketing. So do it yourself. So please be proactive and look and see if there's certifications that you can get because there's a whole bunch of free courses online. So take advantage of that. Next, your career and internship center and coordinator should be your best friend. So FAMU has an internship center, internship and career center that provide resources from resume building, mock interviews, coaching, like a whole bunch of resources. Please take advantage of that, especially if you're someone who is not as, I don't want to say trained, but like you're, what's the word? I don't know, y'all. You're not accustomed to like interviewing. You need help with interviewing. There are resources available. I'm sure every college has one, but that would be something that you need to look into. But definitely take advantage of the Career Center. They're also plugged in with a whole bunch of recruiters. You really, like, college is literally all about networking. Same thing with the internship coordinator. So we have a Career Center, and then for FAMU, each school has an internship coordinator, or at least SBI did and SJGC did. This is the person who is in charge of giving us our credit for our internship because we're required to have an internship to even graduate. But also the person that is sending internship opportunities routinely, the person that recruiters are contacting to find students to fill positions. You need to become real close with these people because they are who you should be contacting for different opportunities. If you're looking for an internship, if you're looking for a full-time job opportunity, leverage those connections, professors included. I think that's another point, but it's a lot easier to get an opportunity as a college student and from the inside when you have a connection, whether that's a coordinator for internships or whether that's an actual recruiter from the company, than it is to get an internship or a job opportunity from the outside looking in. That means it's easier to get a position when you're at a career fair and the recruiter is right in your face, or you have an internship coordinator who was contacted about a position that needs to be filled, than it is just applying on LinkedIn or applying on Indeed or applying on jobs.com. When you have a connection, it makes things a lot easier. So you need to become familiar with the resources that are on your campus, because at some point you're gonna need to get a job. At some point you're gonna need to get an internship, or you're gonna need to get a scholarship. Like, please become familiar with these people. Next, scholarship applications should not stop after freshman year. Even if you're paid for it, never stop applying. I kind of touched on it just a tad, but just because you have a scholarship now does not mean you're gonna have a scholarship in 3 years. And that's not me speaking negatively, but especially when you attend an HBCU, you need to expect the best, but prepare for the worst, quite literally. You need to be proactive, you need to have a plan B, and literally speaking from experience, not even me losing my scholarships because I changed my major. There were times where I feel like it was either once or twice. Okay, so there was one time where I received a scholarship from FAMU, and then maybe 2 days later, they emailed me saying, oh, I'm sorry, we can't give you this scholarship anymore because you're not Pell Grant eligible. So y'all sent me, and the scholarship was for like 10 or 15,000. How you send me a scholarship and you didn't check whether or not I was Pell eligible before you sent me the acceptance letter? How are you going to take back a scholarship that you gave me So that's one example. Then another example, this has happened many times, where I've been given a scholarship and I had a specific amount that I was either told or that was agreed upon, but my account says a totally different thing. They deducted $5,000 or they deducted $10,000 off my scholarship. So this just goes to show, always apply for scholarships, because you literally never know what's gonna happen. And if you get these scholarships, you can use these scholarships. It's literally free money. You can use it for books. You can use it for rent. You can, like, literally, you can use it for food, groceries. So always apply for scholarships, even if your cost of attendance is covered. You never know. This is not to speak bad or to speak bad vibes into your future, but you definitely want to be proactive, and you want to, again, expect the best, but be prepared for the worst. Because when I lost my scholarships, y'all, I ain't had no money, but I was applying for scholarships. Luckily for me, I knew I was gonna lose my scholarship when I was gonna change my major, but I was applying for scholarships before then because I knew I was gonna lose my scholarship. But because I was applying for scholarships, I was able to have my entire second year and part of my third year covered at that time, because Thurgood Marshall gave me like between $40,000 and $48,000. Always apply. Never stop applying. And if you need help on where to find scholarships, check out my scholarship video. I'll be making another one talking about where I got other scholarships from to be able to graduate loan and debt free. Next, apply for summits, conferences, and programs. This is something that I didn't do that I wish I did, because my network would have been so much grander. Don't know if that's a word, but my network probably would have tripled had I been attending conferences and things of that nature. And I will say big ups to SBI, because that's the college that I noticed most students are attending these conferences. Whether that's a Thurgood Marshall College Fund conference, Bloomberg has conferences, I think. A whole bunch of different companies have different conferences that they hold. Even organizations, if you're a part of, like, for example, PRSSA, they have a conference that they go to. I'm sure Scholars of Finance or anything in SBI, they probably have yearly conferences that students can go to. Please attend these conferences, these summits, these programs, because these people are paying for you to fly out to some state, attend the conference. You're meeting a lot of people, you're getting insight, you're getting knowledge, insightful knowledge, and you can use that to your benefit, whether that's through networking or having an opportunity, gaining a skill set, gaining knowledge. Please attend those types of events. Again, it's really on a case by case in terms of like who's hosting, when they're hosting it, for how long, and what's the location. But again, talk to your internship coordinators, talk to your career center to see what opportunities are out there. Next, you don't have to be a sophomore to get an internship. Like I said, I had an internship after my freshman year. Granted, I was classified as a sophomore, but I know plenty of opportunities that I came across that were specifically for freshmen. So for example, I think Abercrombie & Fitch, I know they have a sophomore summit, but I believe they have something for freshmen as well. So it's like not an internship, but it's a program that you can be a part of. So really, you really just got to do the research in terms of finding those opportunities, or having discussions with recruiters and saying like, hey, I know you guys don't take interns that are freshmen, but do you have some sort of program that I can take, because I'm interested in working for your company when I am a sophomore. So please take advantage of resources to figure out and find those opportunities. But there are some opportunities where you can intern as a freshman. Another tip that just came to top of mind, me personally, I'm not taking an internship that's not paying me. Like, don't think because you're a student, you shouldn't be getting paid. Now, this differs depending on what your industry is, because I know like some medical, like if you're in the medical field, maybe law, they don't want to pay you, or it's just like you're shadowing. But me personally, I'm not taking no internship I'm not taking an opportunity that's not paying me. And then on top of that, that's not paying me what I'm worth. I saw one opportunity working for, I don't want to say what company it was, but it was a sports team. and they were paying minimum wage. And the opportunity was for graduates, like for people that were graduating. So it was a full-time opportunity, but they were paying minimum wage. Please know your worth, because a lot of these companies are lowballing students because they think you're not going to expect what you should be getting paid. So please know what you are worth. Know that there are internships out here that are paying students in the mid and upper 20s. There are some internships that are paying students 30s and 40s. Again, it depends on your industry, but minimum wage, excuse me? I didn't even apply. I saw that at a career fair and I put that paper back down because what do you mean minimum wage as a college graduate? So yeah, that was just a side note. Anywho, next, take advantage of remote internships, jobs, and co-ops. So a co-op is something that is kind of like an extended internship, or at least to my understanding. So say you have an internship during the summer and they need you to work a couple hours like during the fall and spring semester remotely. Or if the company is in your location, then you do a couple of hours during the fall and summer semester. That's a co-op program. Internships, I was blessed to have the Wakati internship. So basically a rundown of my internships. After my freshman year, I interned at Steelcase. While I was interning at Steelcase, I was interviewing for Wakati. A couple weeks after my Steelcase internship ended, I started my internship with Wakati, and Steelcase also hired me as a brand ambassador. So that would be like a co-op program. And then I also had my internship with Wakati, so I was getting paid by both companies. For both of those companies, I was working remotely during the fall and spring semesters. So I had a job and it was remote, so I didn't have to worry about going in to a shift. I was able to adjust my schedule based off of my school schedule because both opportunities were very flexible. It just makes things, it's a lot more convenient when you have a virtual job or internship and you're able to work year round. So like for Wakati, I worked I worked year round, fall, spring, summer. So I had a job, I had consistent income while I was in college to be able to use to pay rent, pay for gas, pay for groceries. It's a lot more convenient than if I worked at a local store and I had to actually go in to work, because that's taking away from my life. So being able to work from home, which I think that's why I'm spoiled now, because I work from home now, ain't nothing like it, ain't nothing like it. So please take advantage of virtual opportunities. There are opportunities out there. Try going on different websites and filtering to put remote, because there are opportunities out there. Also, side note, possibly look into opportunities for freelancing, especially if you work in like business or public relations. Be a freelancer, or even like design, graphic design. Be a freelancer. Those are remote positions, contracted positions where people can hire you to do services. And you can work remotely, and it's a way for you to get money. So look into that as well. You might want to establish yourself as a freelancer and have like a rate in mind, but that's also something I wish I would have done. I think that might be a little bit a part of another point that I have, but look into that as well. Next, never put your eggs in one basket when it comes to internships and job opportunities. I am speaking from experience. Please don't get comfortable. I got comfortable, I got complacent, and I thought because, well, I don't want to say it's speaking from experience, but not really speaking from experience. I feel like I got complacent and I kind of got in the way of myself attending other conferences and events because I thought I was good because I had an internship, or I had this job, I had that job, I had this opportunity. I feel like I could have done so much more in terms of expanding myself to different networks and different companies, attending different events for different companies, but I was so caught up in, oh, I already have a job, I don't need this. Please don't put all of your eggs in one basket, because similar to the scholarship situation where you can lose it like that, it's never happened to me, but I've definitely seen it happen to other people where a job will be so quick to let you go. You better have a backup plan. Or an internship, you'll intern with them and they don't have a full-time position for you, but you thought you were gonna have a full-time position with them, so you haven't been interning or looking elsewhere. You don't want to be in that position, so please do not put all of your eggs in one basket. Always be interviewing with others, always be negotiating. I don't know if I talked about negotiating, but we'll talk about that soon. Always be in cahoots with somebody. I don't know if cahoots was the right word, but please always have a plan B and never put all of your eggs in one basket when it comes to internships, jobs, scholarships, opportunities, all of it. Please. Next, stay on top of your course curriculum. If something doesn't look right, speak up. So getting into the tea, I'm speaking from my perspective. I'm not blaming nobody. I have not gotten to peace with this. I have not come to terms and come to peace with this. I'm still healing from this. But the reason I took 10 classes to graduate is because I was misadvised and ended up taking 4 classes that weren't gonna count towards my graduation. Had those 4 classes been classes I actually needed, I would have only taken 6 classes my final semester. But because they were classes that weren't gonna count towards anything, I had to take 10 classes. So please, 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 stay on top of your curriculum. And if something does not look right, please speak up, because these advisors are dealing with so many students every single day. Mistakes happen. Now those mistakes are very costly. But at the end of the day, it's your education and it's your job to stay on top of it. So in a sense, I could have done a better job at staying on top of my course curriculum and speaking up when I thought I saw something that was an inconsistency. Is that a word? I don't know. But please speak up. Please. And a lot of y'all are probably like, India, how did you let them put you in 4 classes that you didn't need? I wasn't even able to see what courses I needed because registrar didn't update my iRattler to be public relations. I was still pre-journalism, meaning I could only see general education requirements that I fulfilled a long time ago. Like they were taking forever and a day to update my iRattler to public relations. So it wasn't until I became public relations that I saw that my classes weren't going towards anything. Mind you, I already had classes that weren't going towards anything because I switched from business to public relations. So I already had classes that were wasted. But that's neither here nor there. That's a whole story time in itself. But please stay on top of your course curriculum and speak up if something doesn't look right. Next, have recurring meetings with your advisor to make sure you're on track. So especially as you're getting close to your senior year, you need to be doing this before your senior year, because if you wait till your senior year, then they're just gonna start pulling classes out of nowhere, which is why I was taking an English literature class my senior year. Like my final semester as a senior, I was enrolled in an English course. Mind you, I took all of my English, writing, math, science courses through dual enrollment as a high school student. So why am I taking English literature as a public relations major? English and public relations, 2 different types of writing styles. Why am I taking this? So please stay on top. Please have meetings with your advisor. Please ask them, if you think you're annoying them, you're not annoying them enough. You can annoy them a little bit more. Be in their office, send them emails. You need to be going over your course curriculum, because I promise you, I know so many people that were going through the same thing as me that ended up not graduating in the spring and had to postpone their graduation to summer or fall because they were either misadvised. I wasn't the only person that was misadvised, or there were classes that they needed that were not being offered. That also happened to me. I was told I wasn't gonna be able to graduate till December because there was a class I needed that was only offered in December. Why wasn't I advised to take that class in December? Great question. It's so much, and you really, really got to stay on top of your academic calendar, your academic curriculum, because some of these advisors, some of them don't know what they're doing. Others are overwhelmed and overworked. But regardless, you're in control of your education, so you have to be proactive in getting this information out of them and making sure that your stuff is correct. Next, Befriend somebody from financial aid, registrar of housing, your advisement office, scholarship office, student accounts. Please befriend somebody from these offices, because, and also on top of that, please be respectful to them, because you couldn't pay me no amount of money to work in financial aid. So sorry. And I'm sure these people be having a day every single day. Please be nice to them, because when you're nice to them and you build relationships with them, they remember you. And when they remember you, they check on you and they make sure that they can do, even though that's what they should be doing, that they do everything they can to make sure you're good. But like Miss Ann in financial aid office, that's my girl. Miss Charlotte Givens from registrar, that's my girl. Torrance and Giles from advisement, them's my peeps. Now they was probably sick of me, but we was cool, we was besties. I told them when I walk across that stage, I'ma look at y'all, and I did. So please, y'all, befriend these people. Make sure they know your name, make sure they know what you look like, because I can't tell you how many times I went into my advisor's office and she don't know who I am. She don't remember my situation. I emailed her 10 minutes ago and she don't know who she talking to. She don't know my situation, and it's like, girl, I've been in your office how many times? So please build a relationship with these people. Yeah. And be respectful. Next, no one will ride for you more than you. You are your biggest advocate. T. So another story time, which honestly, I'm gonna turn how I graduated into its own story time. I just don't want it to seem like I'm bashing anyone or generalizing FAMU. But I was about to not graduate if it were not for my mother, but also if it were not for me, because I was told by multiple faculty members, staff members, like, hey, there's nothing else we can do, I'm sorry. The deadline for XYZ has passed, or XYZ is not being offered, or you're not able to take XYZ. I'm sorry, but there's nothing else we can do. We can sign you up for summer, or to take the course in December, but that's about all we can do. Y'all, I was in the assistant dean's office bawling my eyes out over my situation. In Giles and Torrance office, borderline about to tear up. In my feelings, all the above. Like, my final semester specifically stressed me out. But if it were not for my mother and for my persistence, I never would have graduated. Quick story time. I took classes. I was trying to take a class at Florida International University to fulfill my requirement. It was pretty much the last class I needed to graduate. But the class was full, so it was at capacity, number one. And the class started 2 weeks prior. So I was like, once I got admitted to FIU, I was like, dang, like the class is full. The class started 2 weeks ago. This is literally the only class I can take to graduate. And so my mom was like, India, why don't you email the professor, or email the advisement, or email admissions and see if they'll let you in the course. I was like, I don't know, like the course is full and like the class started 2 weeks ago. She was like, just do it. There's nothing, like, you have nothing to lose at this point. I emailed admissions. First of all, they responded to me within the same day. They told me, India, if you can get in contact with the professor and get permission, then we can take you through next steps. Y'all, I emailed that professor. I poured my heart out to that professor. Shout out to that professor. I told him my situation. I was like, hey, I've been misadvised. This is the only class I need and the only class I can take to fulfill my graduation requirement, because essentially I needed an advertising course and a marketing course. I tried to enroll in both at FAMU, but marketing was a prerequisite for advertising. FIU had an advertising course that was like a step, like half a step lower than FAMU's, but still within the same tier. So it would count towards fulfilling my requirement, but it wasn't exactly the same as principles of advertising. I was like, this is the only class I can take. The other advertising course is too high level for me to take without a prerequisite. Yours is the only one I can take and still receive credit for what's required of me. Please, 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 please. I will literally, like, I will take a 0 for every assignment I miss. I just need to get in this class, please. He emailed me back and he was basically like, I admire your strength and your determination. My camera about to die, hold on. I had to break the video up into 2 parts because when I finished recording, it was like an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes. And y'all ain't trying to sit through all of that. So we're gonna do part 1 today and then we'll do part 2 next week.
Hold up.